In the wake of the 2008 global financial collapse, when the world's faith in institutions had crumbled, an enigmatic figure appeared on a cryptography mailing list with a revolutionary idea: a peer-to-peer digital currency immune to banks, governments, and corruption. The name attached was simple but unfamiliar: Satoshi Nakamoto. No photo, no company, no past, just a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. What followed would alter the course of economics and technology forever. /n/and when Satoshi mined the first Bitcoin block, the Genesis block, on January 3, 2009, he embedded a message within the code. The Times 03/Jan/2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It was both a timestamp and a statement, a protest etched into the DNA of Bitcoin itself. The act fused technology and philosophy, rebellion and code. It wasn't just digital money, it was a declaration of independence from a system many believed had failed. /n/n, but as Bitcoin grew from an obscure idea into a multi-trillion-dollar phenomenon, its creator faded into shadow. Emails stopped. Forum posts ended. And the name Satoshi Nakamoto became not just a pseudonym, but a riddle, a ghost in the machine. Who was this architect of a financial revolution? A lone genius? A team? A government? Or something else entirely? Like the Genesis block itself, the mystery was embedded, immutable, permanent, and unsolved. Satoshi's white paper was just 9 pages long, plain text, simple diagrams, and an idea that seemed impossible at the time. Yet within those pages lay a revolution. Bitcoin proposed a world where money could move without permission, without borders, without banks. The paper described a self-verifying system, a blockchain, that would record every transaction in a chain of cryptographic proof, transparent, immutable, and secure. Each block of data would rely on the one before it, forming a digital ledger that could never be altered retroactively. /n/n to make it work, Satoshi designed an elegant mechanism called proof of work. Miners, people with computers solving mathematical puzzles, would compete to validate transactions, earning bitcoins as rewards. This wasn't just code, it was economic psychology rendered in algorithms. Trust was replaced by math, authority by consensus. And scarcity, the bedrock of money, was hard-coded into the system. Only 21 million bitcoins would ever exist. /n/n, the brilliance of the white paper wasn't just in its technical design, but in its philosophy. It captured the frustration of a post-crisis generation that had seen bailouts for the powerful and consequences for the powerless. Satoshi's vision was a mirror held up to society, asking whether we still needed middlemen to tell us what value is worth. Like all great revolutions, it began not with violence but with words, the quiet hum of servers, and a simple idea whose time had come. Satoshi Nakamoto communicated almost entirely through text. Emails, forum posts, and code commits, each line deliberate, technical, yet oddly human. He was polite but distant, confident but cautious. His messages revealed someone fluent in English idioms yet intentionally ambiguous about origin or identity. He used British spellings like favor and color, referenced the Times, and kept his time zone hidden. It was as if every word was chosen to mislead. /n/n by 2010, Bitcoin had grown beyond its small circle of cryptographers. Early adopters like Hal Finney, Gavin Andresen, and Laszlo Hanieks, the man who famously bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 bitcoins, became the first disciples of Satoshi's idea. Yet as the network expanded, Satoshi began to retreat. In 2011, after sending one final message to a developer, "I've moved on to other things," he vanished completely. No digital trace, no leaks, no verified communication ever since. /n/n who disappears so cleanly from the internet? Some believe Satoshi was a group, a consortium of early cypherpunks. Others claim he was a lone genius, paranoid of surveillance, or even targeted by governments. A few theorize he may have died, leaving the keys to over 1 million bitcoins lost forever. Whoever Satoshi was, his anonymity became part of Bitcoin's mythology, a founder who relinquished power to preserve purity. In a world obsessed with fame, Satoshi's greatest act may have been walking away. As Bitcoin's value exploded, so did the obsession with discovering who created it. Journalists, hackers, and intelligence agencies turned the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto into a digital treasure hunt. Every clue, every linguistic quirk, timestamp, and line of code became potential evidence. The suspects list grew like something from a modern detective novel. \N Hal Finney, one of the first to receive a Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi himself, was a cryptographer known for brilliance and secrecy. His writing style matched Satoshi's in several linguistic analyses, but Finney denied the claim until his death in 2014. Nick Szabo, the creator of BitGold, an early precursor to Bitcoin, seemed the most logical candidate. His essays prefigured almost every principle in Satoshi's design. Yet Szabo, too, denied it. Then came Dorian Nakamoto, a retired engineer living in California. A 2014 Newsweek article declared him the real Satoshi, but Dorian, bewildered, denied any involvement, sparking outrage in the crypto community. \N others have been accused. Adam Back, inventor of Hashcash; Craig Wright, who publicly claimed the identity but failed to produce verifiable cryptographic proof. Some even speculated it was a joint effort between multiple computer scientists, or a government experiment gone rogue. \N, and yet, the harder people looked, the more the trail dissolved into digital dust. Whoever Satoshi was, they covered their tracks with surgical precision. What's left is a riddle woven into the blockchain itself, an anonymous creator who built a system designed to outlive its maker. Beneath the layers of code, Bitcoin carries an idea far older than technology: the struggle for freedom against control. The system Satoshi built is a rebellion in mathematical form. It challenges the assumption that money must flow through intermediaries, that trust must be earned through institutions rather than verified by code. \N Satoshi's embedded message in the Genesis block, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks, wasn't random. It was protest graffiti inside the architecture of money. Bitcoin emerged from the chaos of the 2008 crash, when people saw governments printing trillions to save the same banks that had caused the collapse. Satoshi's response wasn't a slogan or speech, it was software. \N, but beyond finance, Bitcoin raised deeper questions. What happens when no one controls money? Can a truly decentralized system exist in a world built on hierarchy? Satoshi's writings often hinted at libertarian ideals: self-sovereignty, privacy, and resistance to surveillance. Yet they avoided ideology, letting the code speak instead. \N to believers, Bitcoin represents digital freedom, a tool to escape inflation, censorship, and authoritarian oversight. To critics, it's a threat to regulation, a playground for speculation. But perhaps that duality is the point. Satoshi's creation reflects humanity itself, capable of both liberation and greed. \N Bitcoin's design wasn't just technical, it was philosophical engineering. It invited humanity to ask, what is trust worth, and who deserves to hold it? In April 2011, the world heard from Satoshi Nakamoto for the last time. In a message to a collaborator, he wrote simply, "I've moved on to other things." No farewell, no manifesto, no explanation. Then, silence. His online accounts went dormant, his cryptographic keys unused. The creator of the world's first decentralized currency had decentralized himself. \N Satoshi's disappearance was as deliberate as his design. Before leaving, he handed control of Bitcoin's code to other developers, ensuring that no single person, including himself, could dictate its fate. It was the final act of decentralization, the founder removing the founder. And what makes the disappearance so haunting is what Satoshi left behind, about 1 million Bitcoins, untouched. At today's value, that's tens of billions of dollars. The wallets are traceable, the coins unmoved. If Satoshi were alive and wanted to prove his identity, a single transaction would suffice. Yet not one has ever occurred. \N the silence became sacred. In a digital age where anonymity is nearly extinct, Satoshi achieved the impossible, absolute erasure. Perhaps he feared becoming a target. Perhaps he believed the myth was more powerful than the man. Or perhaps, like all great creators, he knew that the work must transcend the worker. \N Bitcoin became a religion of code, and its profit disappeared into the machine. As Satoshi's absence deepened, imagination filled the void. Some saw shadows of intelligence agencies, whispering that Bitcoin was too sophisticated, too globally timed to be the work of one person. Was Satoshi part of the NSA's cryptographic elite? A digital weapon unleashed to test decentralized control, and others proposed something stranger. That Satoshi was an early artificial intelligence experiment, code that learned to write code. Bitcoin's precision, tone, and unemotional logic seemed almost post-human. Then came the collective theory that Satoshi was not one but many. A syndicate of cypherpunks and cryptographers united by ideology. The name Nakamoto, meaning central origin in Japanese, itself an irony, a symbol of decentralization born from a phrase of unity. And there are whispers of academic fingerprints, fragments of linguistic matches to essays by Szabo, Back, and Finney. Still, no proof survives scrutiny. In every lead lies contradiction, in every clue an echo of misdirection. Perhaps that's the genius of it. Satoshi didn't just invent Bitcoin, he designed his own disappearance as part of the story. /N in an era obsessed with identity and celebrity, Satoshi remains the final anonymous voice, a creator whose silence amplifies his creation. The mystery has become inseparable from Bitcoin's mythos, ensuring that every generation will rediscover the legend anew. In less than 2 decades, Satoshi Nakamoto's creation transformed from an obscure experiment to a planetary phenomenon. Bitcoin ignited a revolution that spread beyond finance, touching technology, philosophy, and politics. The blockchain, once a niche curiosity, now underpins industries, from art and gaming to healthcare and governance. It redefined how we understand ownership, transparency, and power. /N, but beyond code and currency, Satoshi's greatest legacy may be psychological. He proved that a single anonymous individual could challenge global systems, not with weapons, but with logic and code. Bitcoin became not just a tool of commerce, but a statement of possibility. In authoritarian regimes, it became a lifeline for dissidents. In economies ravaged by inflation, it became an escape route. /N critics call it volatile, wasteful, or speculative, yet even they acknowledge the brilliance of its architecture, the elegance of self-verification, the beauty of digital scarcity. Whether you see it as revolution or rebellion, Bitcoin forced the world to confront the nature of money itself. /N and Satoshi. He remains everywhere and nowhere. His words live in the whitepaper. His code runs on millions of machines. His signature hides in the blocks being mined every 10 minutes, each one a silent message. The system works. The creator may be gone, but his design endures. Who was Satoshi Nakamoto? A man, a myth, a mirror reflecting humanity's longing for truth? After more than a decade, the question persists, not because the answer is hidden, but because the mystery itself has meaning. Satoshi's Vanishing act transformed him from a developer into a legend. His absence ensured that Bitcoin would belong to no one and everyone at once. And every attempt to unmask him feels like missing the point. In disappearing, Satoshi taught us something profound. That creation does not require credit, that legacy can thrive without recognition. In a world built on surveillance and ego, anonymity became the final act of genius. And perhaps Satoshi is alive, watching the system evolve from the shadows. Or perhaps he's long gone, leaving behind a codebase that became humanity's digital monument. Either way, the idea has already outgrown its maker. /N in the end, Satoshi Nakamoto isn't just the creator of Bitcoin. He is a symbol of what happens when faith in institutions gives way to trust in ourselves. The mystery will endure, not as a riddle to solve, but as a reminder that some revolutions are meant to be leaderless. /N in the silence of the blockchain, his voice still echoes, immutable, anonymous, eternal.